All right. Hello, everyone. This is Nancy checking in with you all today from the Pacific Northwest. We're having some gorgeous weather here, but I also understand that there's all kinds of weather changes all across the United States between flooding and sun that is really kind of making life unpredictable right now for most people. So, today I'm talking about the role of your sacral chakra, specifically in relationships. And I'm Nancy Rebecca with Intuitive Mind. I've been working as a psychic medium, clairvoyant teacher for, about 28 years now, which is pretty unbelievable for me. But I'm looking forward to touching in with you all here live on YouTube to see how you're doing today. So just let me know where you are tuning in from. What are you having this morning? It is a warm morning here, but I'm still having my warm coffee. Good morning, Heather. How are you today? Just kind of picking up, seeing who's being able to get tuned in. So I'm going to go ahead and get started as you all are finding me. So the role of your emotional chakra in relationships specifically is what I'm talking about today. And we are in July, so we are in the astrological sign of Cancer, but we're also in the new moon of Cancer. Cancer is that really strong, really mothering, kind of family oriented type energy. Very emotional, probably one of the most emotionally sensitive of all signs. So even though you're not a Cancer, even though you may be more of an air sign, you're still going to feel a heightened sense of the emotional aspects of everything going on in the world right now. So hello, Jennifer. Hi, Kimberly. Hello, Wilma. Hi, Jackie. So it's nice to see you all. So I've been working with the chakras, the human energy field, like I said, for almost 28 years now. Because I am a registered nurse, I always found it extremely curious as to how our human energy field impacts our health, wellness, well-being. And that realizing that you can, as a clairvoyant, as a psychic, can start to see imbalances in the energy field that can impact health and wellness long before, years before actually, you might have a actual physical symptom that would express that. So your emotional chakra, the second chakra, is really powerful. And I am really aware that there's a lot of people that aren't aware about what chakras are and their energy centers. So I'm going to try to explain this at that really base level, and then we'll just kind of make those steps to really realize at that innermost, deepest aspect of yourself just how valuable this sacral chakra is to being able to bring your spirit into the body and really enjoy life on earth. There aren't many people that really enjoy life on earth. And when I was talking about the frequency forecast of July, I really wanted to kind of illuminate those lower three chakras. When I first began this journey, I was like, most of you, that concept of the spiritual connections are those upper chakras. But in actuality, your entire human body, your entire energy field, all of your chakras are all spiritual. They're all spiritual, all part of your spiritual energy field. And so what we're going through is really trying to make peace with those lower three chakras. The high frequencies are rapidly changing. We're rapidly expanding in consciousness. But in July, it was really illuminated about these first three chakras. So last week, I talked about the root chakra. This week, I'm talking about the sacral. Next week, I will be talking about the third chakra. And these are really full, really stirred up right now. Our ability to emotionally survive in the life that we've created is really challenging us right now. So again, astrologically, we're in the sign of Cancer, but there's also this big shift between the North Node, the South Node. There's a lot of astrologers really talking about that, but there's really what this sense is moving us from our outer focus, our outer emotional connections. It's like, okay, you're emotionally stable, so now I can be emotionally stable. If you're not emotionally stable, then I can't be emotionally stable. So you better get emotionally stable so I can be emotionally stable. Is that making sense? It's like we rely on the people around us. We hear this all the time in the spiritual realm. Be with your like-minded people, be with people who kind of believe and think the same way that you do. But when it comes to the emotional aspects, we can be vastly different, even if we think that the stars influence us, even if we think that we want that spiritual inner peace. The second chakra can really rock the boat no matter how together you are. And this is the thing, what I teach with my students, where our focus is can you learn how to manage sometimes your really unruly energy field? Can you manage those deep, deep, deep levels of emotional depression and kind of really dragging the emotions around, feeling down in the dumps, feeling like you're in a hole? Can you manage to lift yourself out of that? Or can you manage your energy field when you're like that so you're not impacting others? Or when your emotions are really kind of out of control, you just walked into a room, you're just throwing a fit all over the place, can you manage to bring those emotions back together again? And so really, I view the second chakra as just kind of like this wild, beautiful animal, like a stallion, that you don't want to break its spirit, but you definitely want to learn how to ride bareback with no lead, that you feel one with the stallion, to be able to ride through the mountains with this great sense of freedom. So this is the way the second chakra, you hope to have a relationship with your second chakra. But yeah, we have a lot of programming around how we should be very emotionally put together. And but since we're talking today specifically about the second chakra and its impact on your relationships, I want you to take a pen and paper and I want you to write down your top 3 relationships. The ones that either you feel the most attracted to or you feel the most repelled by. It might be a parent, it might be a sibling, it might be a husband, it might be a wife, it might be a best friend, it might be a coworker, it might be your child. But just to name 3, I will teach you an exercise at the end to really see where you are emotionally with your sacral chakra and their sacral chakra, and how I said in balance, but I also said imbalanced at the same time. So is it balanced? Is it not imbalanced? And then how can you bring those easily with a technique, bring it into balance? Thanks, Leanne, for my earrings. They are from Newfoundland, from my friend. Good morning, Donna Booth, saying it's very hot in Florida. So hi, thanks for the blue shirt. So let me talk a little bit about what the second chakra is, because most of us go throughout our day without paying much attention to it. Now you might want to take your hands and place them on your lower belly that's just below the navel area. Often there's like a little soft spot there, right there on the surface of the skin. Sometimes we'll feel that lower achiness in the back. That's the back of the second chakra. The sacral chakra, the second chakra, is your spiritual, provides all your spiritual information about those beautiful emotions, about that incredible creativity, about that sensual, sexual energy, but it's also about your male and your female energy. So it really comes down to expression. And it's not just expression at the human level. Your spirit desires, hungers, craves to express through your body. So if all of those channels are blocked, your spirit cannot fully express through you. So when we're kind of disconnected, our spirit's not allowed to express through those body emotions, creativity, sexual energy, then you're going to try to find others in relationship to help trigger that within you. So this is the beautiful part. Once you can learn to be inspired in relationship by your own spirit that can help illuminate, bring the light, bring that chakra into balance and harmony, then you are not dependent on those relationships to do it for you. Does that mean that you're going to walk away from your relationships, that you don't need anybody? Absolutely not, because that's not the direction that we're going as a society. We are community building. We are creating families wherever we go. So you definitely want to have relationships, but you don't want your second chakra to be dependent on the mood of those around you to determine how you're going to feel. And you most certainly don't want to be overly influencing how other people feel based on how you're feeling. Like, how many of you have been really grumpy, really cranky, really angry, upset, and you're not going to be satisfied until everybody in that room is upset, that you've triggered them all into a bad mood. And once you've triggered them all into a bad mood, then suddenly you're happy. So I've experienced that with people a lot in my life, and I have been probably guilty of that as well. So these are the things that you want to be looking at. So do you have your names written down? So again, I'll mention it for anybody who's just now popping on. Write down 3 names of relationships that you feel really connected to, whether it's positively or negatively. So when you have a blocked or overactive second chakra, you can struggle with feelings of guilt, shame, disconnection from your partner. You will also have a lot of emotional patterns that manipulate between you and your partner when it's blocked or overactive. There's a variety of emotional and physical symptoms that you can feel when that second chakra is blocked, like a lot of cramping, a lot of lower intestinal influences, a lot of lower back aches when that particular chakra is blocked. You also may feel a lack of passion, a lack of creativity. You might even feel numb and disconnected from your emotions. So this second chakra, its entire job, so you have these upper chakras that are very light, they're very bright, they're very fifth dimensional friendly. And then you have these lower chakras that are living here in the 3D world, just waiting to be awakened by the 5D world, by your spiritual by your spiritual chakra. So again, the second chakra is how you express, but it's also how your spirit is able to express through you. Let me just see. So, all right, I've already talked about that. The main dominant color. So the way that I see as a clairvoyant the second chakra, and I see the aura with people who are really expressing that second chakra, it is almost like a patchwork of color. You'll see a variety of color moving through the aura. And often there's a lot of people that think that they were born with a certain color of an aura and they go through their whole life and that is their color. But it's interesting because for me, I have this kind of color palette. So part of it is this kind of blue. I might do some purples. There might be some indigo greens. So that tends to be the range that I am in most times. But the second chakra, its predominant frequency in color and sound is associated with the color orange. a really strong, vibrant, very alive feeling orange. So I was walking the other day and I thought, wow, I haven't used orange in a long time. So I intentionally intended to shift my aura into the color orange, and I intended to kind of spin, allow the color orange to kind of flow through my second chakra. Wow, it felt great. Orange is really known as the transformational frequency. So often when I'm doing psychic readings for someone, if I see orange in their aura, I know they're in the middle of a change. If I see orange on 2 layers of their aura, it's like, wow, you're really into this change, this transformation that's happening. If I see 3 or more layers, you might as well just put the seatbelt on, because your life is changing and there is nothing that you can do about it. So orange is this really beautiful color, but use it sparingly when you're working with it in your own meditations. But when you're moving through stuff and you're feeling stuck, you feel like you can't move it through, you feel like you're emotionally stuck, you'll definitely want to meditate with your second chakra and the color orange. Good morning, Mary from Sacramento. Okay, the role of the second chakra, it also governs emotional intelligence. So what I realize with our relationships is that you can be highly intelligent. You can be really have it together. You can be highly organized. You can have this great focus, which right now that's what we're going through with the Aries, Libra, North Node, South Node astrology that's going on, is that we're really starting to focus on our life and take away our focus from our relationships and moving more in the direction that we feel called to go. But what I realized years and years ago was that you are attracted to those who are your emotional mate, your emotional match. So you can be 40, 30, 40 years old, but you can still have the emotional age of a 2-year-old. You're going to be attracted to someone who is your emotional maturity match. So if you're both 30 or 40, but you both have a second chakra that's at a 2-year-old level, then you're going to be that match. You're going to match up with that other person. Now, imagine you're in a relationship with somebody else who has an emotional age of 2 years old. Well, you're either going to play well together or you're going to fight well together. You're going to rough and tumble, and then you're going to make up really quickly. Just like a 2-year-old can throw a toy, throw a fit, and the next minute is happy and laughing. So that can work really well until the other person starts to mature faster. They're growing up that second chakra and age, and the other person is still at that 2-year-old emotional sacral chakra. Then you're going to not get along well, even if you all have so much in common at every other level. So that's what I've learned as a psychic, is that it is the second chakra that really draws you together with other people. And that can be kind of surprising, because you think you're kind of drawn to their spiritual aspects or how smart they are. But there's a huge connection like that magnet at the second chakra level. So again, I've already talked about the nodal axis in Aries. You're thinking in relationship to others. It's shifting to your relationship with yourself. It does not mean your relationships are going away. It just means if everyone takes care of their own emotional imbalances, then your entire community can get along better, where people aren't blaming or pointing the finger at somebody else for upsetting the apple cart. Everybody is tending to their own emotions. And so again, as I said, the moon in Cancer, I mean, I am really excited about this because it is that mothering sign. It's all about relationships right now, and it's about community building. Also, the second chakra is all about really flooding your system with creativity, floods the system of the mind to really help inspire creative, innovative ideas. The way that the frequency is happening on the planet right now, we are being downloaded, I think, more from that outer universe than I have ever experienced in my entire life. That influence of the galactic core, the influence of the great attractor. It's almost like I am starting to feel all the planets moving around me. And it's like I have enough to think about, but we're being kind of really downloaded with this high level of knowledge. But what do you do with it? I've really been noticing that crown chakras really wide open, and it can feel quite overwhelming on the head and the shoulders. But when you really calm that one down and blend it with the creativity of your second chakra, that's where your ideas really start to take form and have that potential to manifest. Okay, let's see here. So we talked about your emotional maturity. We talked about creativity, that the second chakra really surges with creativity. And often we think that to inspire that creative ideas within you, that you need to paint. A lot of people, that's the first place they go, but creating music, doing performance art, making quilts, baking, working in the yard and planting certain plants around. You're inspiring a lot of creativity. I'm looking at the question, Eric. I will look at that question here in just a minute. So again, the sacral chakra, remember I talked about wanting to be in that like-minded world with others who are very intuitive, who listen to their intuition, who are psychic, who are spiritual, who really feel connected to the divine. But it's actually that second chakra is what really helps connect or build that bridge between intuition and your capacity to take action. You can also have, it heightens your psychic ability. So often when I'm working with my students, I will say, all right, what's your intuitive hit? So they'll kind of have that hit. And I'm like, before you speak that, drop into it a little deeper. Drop into it a little deeper. Now, drop into that a little deeper, meaning don't just stay here on the surface with your intuitive hit, but really engage all of your chakras. And your second chakra, it's like, how can you express that intuition with the levels of accuracy that really comes connected to it? And so that's where you really drop into and have access to that second chakra that's going to help add a depth and a richness to what you're expressing. I kind of think of the second chakra as like that really rich soil, that moist soil that is just full of nutrients and that can nourish that little seed into life. And that's really what our second chakra is about. Okay, let's see. Sex. Sensual, sexual chakra. So there's a lot associated with the sexual chakra and sexual energy that is just about pure survival of the population on the planet. That creating new life forms, new human forms, is to really help increase at a survival level, increase humanity, putting more humans on the planet. But the second chakra is also adds that sensuality, adds that expression. And sexual energy, your spirit loves to express through sexual energy, sensuality. It does not mean that you actually have an intimate relationship with another person. It just means that When your cells of your human body are bathed in that sensual sexual energy, the cell is less resistant. How many of you experience a lot of resistance in your life right now? How many of you are like done? Like you're so done with all the changes that are happening? I will just tell you that sensual energy, when it's flowing throughout your entire body, it bathes those cells, it softens and disengages resistance so that you can feel more expressive. So if any of you have ever experienced that type of intimacy before, that you know what I mean, that it just, everything in the world seems better. It's like all food tastes better, the air smells better, the trees look greener. I mean, everything in life is enhanced and expressed in a bigger way. That's that second chakra. So we're going to do this meditation. I asked you all, if somebody else has just joined new, to list the top 3 relationships. We're going to do a little meditation here. But let me just look at Eric's question. How much does the influence of the second chakra of the collective affect one's own second chakra, and also the second chakra of the planet Earth? Well, if, Eric, you believe in the oneness of the universe, then let's flip that around, Eric. How much does your sacral chakra, your second chakra, influence the collective? How much does your second chakra influence the second chakra of planet Earth? A lot. We are one and the same. There is no difference. It's just like, if you believe, which I do, we have this, when I'm talking about the frequency forecast, where you can have someone having an emotional explosion in Saudi Arabia, and it can shift all the molecules and frequencies and can impact you here. When I'm working with the students and we're working to calm down some of the energies, in another country, or we're working on the earth grid, my students will feel a big shift happen inside of them as well. I mean, how does that happen? But we often have no idea how much how we are in alignment or disalignment impacts just those around us. I can see, Eric, you're really thinking in that big expansive way, but how is your emotional stability impacting those closest to you as well? And that's going to give you an idea of how much you emotionally are impacting the earth and impacting the universe. So Michelle, hi Michelle, said thank you for all you do. First time being able to join live, fantastic. Long time listener. I've been dizzy, having dizzy migraines and very emotional. So the last root video really helped with that today. So thank you so much for mentioning that. So a little bit more about the sacral chakra. Because it also brings in fresh energy to the small intestines and digestion, it can really, which can impact when you have headaches. Headaches can be strongly attached to digestion. But also, how often do we, when we want to emotionally express, we want that emotion to come all the way up and out the top of the head. But let's say, Michelle, that you're feeling sad, and it's like, I don't know why I'm feeling sad. Why am I feeling sad? I like, everything's going great. Why am I feeling overwhelmed by sadness? So what happens is that sadness comes up. Well, your head, that mental aspect of the sixth chakra, clamps down and will not let that emotion flow until your mind can figure out, are you really sad? Or maybe it's somebody else's sadness, or maybe I'm triggered about something. I better figure out what I'm triggered about. So it's like your mind won't let your body feel the fullness, the full expression of this beautiful sadness, which is very healing, by the way, until your head figures it out. Or how about when you're being sexual and sensual? How many of you overthink it? How many of you have trouble in that intimacy, just totally letting go, letting that sensual sexual energy flow up out the top of your head? And next time you have intimacy, try it. How high can you get that intimacy, that flow to go up out of the top of the head? How about creativity? I remember when I first started working with my creativity, it was like there was this black plate of concrete over the top of my second chakra. So it's just like I would just have this churning of creativity in my lower belly, but I couldn't fully express it because my mind just so wanted everything just in an organized fashion. When you bring up all that creativity, it really can expand and go beyond the limitations of your mind. So Jennifer's saying, I love how I can work right with yourself and influence the world and the universe. I always try to say, and I know it's such a challenging concept, but if you knew that every time you grounded, that you just closed your eyes and you just imagine this deep, invisible energy force that goes deep through all the layers of the earth and really anchors in the core. If you knew that every time you did that, maybe 1 million people got healed in that moment. Like, think about it. It happens. It's the truth. Every time you ground, you can have 1,000, 100, millions. Some people who are really have that enhanced capacity to channel and ground off a lot of energy can influence billions of people at a time. But this goes beyond our mental concept and our mental ability to grab hold of those types of thoughts. But it's true. And the more you can kind of think outside of yourself, which we really are moving in that direction, especially with this new moon in Cancer and this gathering of unity consciousness, we're going to start to realize that your thoughts, your feelings, your living in the world impacts more people than you could possibly imagine. So, all right. So in this little meditation, what we're going to do, you've got your 3 names, right? We're going to do a meditation where you're going to ground yourself. And we're going to get a little bit into the flow. And you're going to tune in to see what your emotional age is. How old are you emotionally? You're going to know how old you are at the human level, but how old are you emotionally? And then we're going to just kind of stand in front of the other person you're in a relationship with and check your emotional age compared to their emotional age. And it can be surprising. I was kind of playing this game with myself yesterday in front of several different people. And it was interesting how just in that mirrored reflection, how much my emotional chakra was shifting from age to age to age. So this is a really great little mini meditation that you can do anytime to keep growing yourself up, grow your emotional chakra up. It's super, super, super easy. All right. So go ahead and let's close your eyes and turn within. And some of you are starting to feel a little achy, breaky in that lower belly. And that's because we're really talking about that chakra and really getting it activated. So go ahead and say good morning to your body. Say good morning to your spirit. And just for a moment, tune in and tap into your sacral chakra and talk sweetly to it. How you feeling today, honey? Have you got some blocked emotions that I haven't been letting you express lately? Are you feeling really emotionally stunted, or are you really feeling exhausted because I'm always being overly emotional? So just have those sweet conversations with your second chakra to include creativity. Have I stunted your creativity for a while? Have I not been expressing my sensuality in the ways that you wish to express it? So let's just take a few moments of quiet as you have that sweet conversation with your own second chakra. Now, remember, I talked about the power of grounding. Go ahead now and just pretend and imagine that there's this energy force that is so brilliantly strong within you, so potentially expressive within you, that it needs to be stabilized. Remember, I talked about that wild stallion? So let's just see if we can just help calm down that root chakra, not shut it down, not expect it to not express, but let's ground it off around the area of the hips. Imagine that grounding force going through the seat of the chair that you're in, the floor of the room, the earth's crust, and pretend and imagine that that grounding of your second chakra is going to go to all the way to the center core, magnetic core, and wrap around that centralized area at the center of the earth. Now, yes, we can acknowledge if you have experienced, struggled with emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or that sense of wanting to be suppressed when you feel like you want to express the aliveness of who you are, but you've got people around you that want you to dampen that down. That can get really packed in the second chakra. So I always say it's kind of like this just hot uh, black kind of acid that can be held in pockets there. So imagine you're just opening up that second chakra and you're just going to let all that old black, um, outdated, painful energy. It's just like cracking an egg. You're just going to let it drop right down your grounding with ease and effortlessness. You just tell her, I don't have to suffer and struggle through all this old stuff. I've been there, I've done that. Now I'm ready to let go of the energetics. Now imagine some earth energy coming up your legs. Again, we're just pretending and imagining earth energy is such a detoxer of your emotional chakra. To me, that earth energy is like a sponge that when it's flowing through your second chakra and your root chakra, it absorbs any toxins or just old memories, old emotions, old sexual creative imbalances. soaks it up like a sponge, and then you just drop it down your grounding. So all you have to do is let that earth energy come up through the pelvis, let it flow through that second chakra, let that earth energy just connect in, align with it, and carry all that old energy out. And just kind of swirl around there, just below the navel area. Let that earth energy swirl around there, kind of rinsing out old, outdated energy. Nice. Now let's go ahead and just rinse through your aura with some golden healing energy. You can work with silver or blue or green. Maybe you're feeling compelled to work with a little bit of orange cosmic energy today. I always recommend you mix it with a little bit of healing gold to dilute it a little bit. But hey, if you are one of those that you love the feeling and the strength of powerful energy, then go for that strong orange. But let's go ahead and just bring that into the room where you are to rinse through your entire aura with that cosmic energy as we get ready to heal a couple of relationships. I did hear one of you ask, can it be relationships with someone who's crossed over on the other side? Yes, absolutely, it can. So right now, ask yourself, ask your second chakra, what emotional age are you at right now? And if it's not your chronological age, your human age, then remind your second chakra how old you are. So like for me, for example, I might tune in, my second chakra said, well, I'm 16 years old. And I'll say, well, we're actually 64 years old. So you remind your second chakra of how old you actually are. So take a moment to do that. Some of you may feel a shift in your second chakra as you align with your true age. All right, so now imagine and pretend your number one relationship, and depending on how comfortable you are, you can imagine that they're standing 100 feet away, or you can imagine that they're as close as 10 feet away, or you can just imagine thinking about them. And you're going to now again ask yourself, when you're in the presence of this other person, what is your emotional age? And when you're in the presence of this other relationship, if your age does not sustain and maintain your actual human age, just remind your chakra of how old you really are in relationship to that emotional relationship. As you're bringing your age up, your emotional age, just let go of any, remember I said you can just drain it right down your grounding like cracking an egg. Just let all that old emotion drop down your grounding so you can sustain your current age in that relationship. All right, we've got 2 more. Let's do another relationship. And now as you are standing in front or you're near this other relationship, how old are you emotionally? And then remind yourself, grow yourself up. Hey, if you're maintaining your emotional current age, that's fantastic. But if not, grow yourself up just by reminding yourself, hey, in this relationship, I'm really this age, and so let that second chakra come present with the true age you are. All right, and then one more. I realize some of you will be quicker than that, but let's go ahead now and pretend that third one on your list. How old are you emotionally? I can hear some of you. Wow, 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 wow. Awesome. If you're experiencing any achy, crampy energy in that second chakra, it's because it's healing. You're healing it. All right, go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. As you let it out, just dump even more old energy out of your second chakra. Just go ahead and pat your little lower belly there. Thank your capacity to be able to express emotionally, sexually, creatively. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Ooh, that was awesome. Kind of shocking, isn't it? Kind of surprising in a good way, because when you are really aligned with your true age in all of your relationships, it's like, whoa, everything changes. It is an emotional game changer. So I would love to hear from you all what your experiences were like. We've really gone, wow, way over. Um, so again, please take the time to write and let me know what your emotional ages were, what it felt like when you shifted that age. Maybe you might even come back later in the week and say, wow, that was really reflected in a really real way in my relationship, and this is what happened when I emotionally grew myself up in relationship to this other person. So come back and share with me too, because I always get notified in my email when somebody makes another comment or post, so I can get to read it right away. So thanks everyone for joining me on this Thursday. We're creating healthy second chakras together. Next week, we're going to talk about the third chakra. We're going to all get these first, second, third chakras really tuned up so we can bring more of our light to illuminate through these fantastic, expansive, radical, rapid changes that we're going through on the earth right now. So take care, everyone, and I will see you next week.